What is good? What is going on, everyone? Of course, I'm back in the house. Our man Dies is not feeling 100%. So, guys, if you're looking for the Sixers loss, you can rain on me a little bit. That's all right. I can take that. Of course, I'm sitting next to my main man, Mitch. What's going on, Mitch?
I'm telling you last night, Fly Like an Eagle was better in this game.
Well, you guess what? I had a much. I needed more Advil for that show, but you know what? This is starting. I'm going to need some more perks for this episode. I'm going to need some Tylenol, some Advil to get me through the display that we just saw tonight. And of course, right below us is my brother from another mother, my man Sean Bernard. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I wish I was in better spirits, fellas. That was a tough one. I was straight up butts were kicked right from start to finish. Nick shot the lights out and everything pretty much crumbled from there. So disappointing to see this team kind of roll over the way they did. Tough one overall. Hopefully this is a washed away and move on kind of situation.
You guys are absolutely right. You want to talk about a bad loss again? To me, before you hopped on with us, Sean, I kind of said to Mitch, I said I felt like this was the Villanova Wildcats taking on the 76ers. I mean, they could tell me all the Sixers, the Knicks fans came down here to take it over, but I could have sworn this was just because it was DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. This was definitely a wild card, the Villanova kind of a deal going on. And again, those guys were shooting the lights out from perimeter. I mean, Miles McBride was your star player. They just couldn't touch him. He was just unloading, and Mr. Stein came through and gave Mr. Embiid some problems in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked pretty bad. It looked pretty bad for this 76er team and the bench, which I've always said it's supposed to be complementary to the starting rotation. It's 16 minutes for one Marcus Morris and nothing. You got nothing from him. The bench has been, as the one broadcaster said multiple times, like he's been wet. Well, that bench has been dried. That was dried. I mean, you got no productivity. Everyone had like I think like 2 or 3 points at best. I mean, really, no one really got their hands really dirty off the bench. I mean, really, Paul Reed 6 points. Other than that, everyone else had a bucket. It's horrible, and that's one of the most concerning problems with this team is the bench. When these guys have to take their breaks, who's going to step up? And you don't have really anybody. Even when you leave when you leave like the Tyrese Maxey's of the world, you leave him in there with the bench. No productivity, none.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Scary.
the bench was bad. There's no doubts about it. That in total, these guys combining for 15 points from the bench unit in this one, which is straight up not good enough. Paul Reed leading the way with 6 points in his 12 minutes, and an ugly 6 points at that. That one possession was the most Paul Reed possession I've ever seen. It ultimately ended in a fadeaway jump shot that rimmed out, but just the too much Paul Reed for me in that situation. But to me, I think front and center, I got to shift attention right back to the starters. That to me, this is on the big players in these games. Joel Embiid rolled that ankle in that first play and did not look like the same straight up. I thought it was a little embarrassing that they left him in to chase that 30-point streak. He ultimately did get that after getting his shot blocked by Hartenstein and a number of other things. But to me, it felt like the Knicks got hot. They hit a bunch of shots, and the Sixers kind of folded right from there. And that's super disappointing that's the way it kind of played out.
Absolutely. Mitch, what was your take?
My take from this is that they just looked defeated from the very, very start. They looked defeated. They looked tired. I don't know what was going on there. They didn't even have a game. What exactly happened? Maxey had a good game. Maxey had a good game from start to finish, so I'm not going to knock him. But it's just like this wasn't a Sixers team I know. This wasn't it.
No, this was definitely not it. Again, this is some of the her pieces. Like Sean said, one of the pieces did not come up in productivity was Nick Batum. Kind of was just just MIA out there. Tobias Harris, very inconsistent. Then he wound up leaving the game and never coming back. So again, what is this team? I mean, there's times again they have the stretches. Prior to this game, they looked really really sharp. Again, this Knicks team was very hungry, and I already had that feeling going into this game. could have shook out this way. Just the fact that, again, half the team, 3 or 4 players from that team played for Villanova, played in South Philly. They kind of had that juice. They had that home momentum going for them already. So, again, D'Alfrecenzo and all those other cats, man, just um, they had the home swag, but it's more than just that. It's just more that they were just catching and shoot, and we just had nothing to match it. I mean, Tyrese Maxey did his thing, but that just quickly ran out. Like Mitch said, it just they got fatigued fast, and that was the story of it. And just guys just come off the bench and deliver for you.
Yeah, definitely. And for Jalen Brunson specifically, obviously the superstar of the Knicks, the guy is the real deal. Ended with 30 points tonight. Brunson's very much a riser as far as when facing off against talent, that it does feel like he takes it personal. I felt like that was the case tonight, that he played with a chip on his shoulder from start to finish, as we've seen from him from time to time. And I do love that about him. He is the real deal by every definition of it, and a very winning player in stylistically the way that he goes about his business. So a ton of respect to Jalen Brunson, but I also think this brings questions about the Sixers, that when you look at things, that this is a team who's kind of beat up over some small competition over this past stretch of weeks, that it's a little different story when you're not facing the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls and all these other teams. I felt like tonight was a little bit of a wake-up call for the Sixers team. I ultimately think they are much better and more talented than they played like tonight. I think they will bounce back from this. I'm not worried in the long run, but this is something that for the first time this season, we're seeing the version of the Sixers that has that sink down to competition kind of aspect and did not show up for this game. So this is the first time this season that I'm fully pressing that button of this team did not look like they wanted to be here from start to finish. The little things, the allowing offensive rebounds, loose balls, stuff like that is when it shows up. And I thought it was on full display tonight.
Absolutely. Here goes Zach checking in from Twitter. He goes, bad game in every aspect. We looked horrible. Do not want to see that again. I totally agree. And of course, my man Nick, he goes check in. He goes, most nights I'll be sure to share with you guys to touch on B-ball Paul, but not sure if I could do this one. No, you can't go there with B-ball Paul. Not tonight. Only 6 points. But no, and to me though, again in this game, um, and you guys, Sean, you're saying that Jalen Brunson looked very, very good. And again, this is those stretches where, like you said, we're not going to play the Washington Wizards, the Detroit Pistons, and so forth. We're going to face teams like this, and I kind of wonder, like to me, I'm like, all right, what can Nick Nurse have done to make some alignment where nothing is going for you? What kind of adjustments could you have made? Again, I've often talked about how this team looks very, very, very good as a rebounding team. Kelly Oubre with 7 rebounds. However, to me, this is where you need that consistent shooter other than what you
Yeah.
have with Maxey and Embiid. Like, you need someone who's just as solid. And granted, you get the Nick Batum's from time to time. You get Marcus Morris off the bench who can deliver. Maybe he'll go 3 to 4 off the from the perimeter. But you need that complementary piece who can shoot the lights out. Maybe not just from perimeter, but have a mid-range game, and that's all you have really is Embiid and Maxey. Other than that, you take that away. You shut them down defensively. You learn how to shut them down defensively. What do they really have?
And beyond that, sorry to jump in here real quick,
Yes.
Mitch, but I think it's the volume of 3-point shooting that's been a concern of mine about the Sixers team. That when you have a player like Joel Embiid, who obviously is a post presence more so than most NBA players, and a guy that's super comfortable in the mid range, and then you have a guy like Tyrese Maxey who kind of combats that. They're surrounding them. There has to be some volume 3-point shooter. The JJ Redicks, the guys that launch up from deep that we've seen. Based on tonight, the Knicks shot 18 of 41 on 3-pointers, shot 43.9% in the game. Sixers just 6 of 23, 26.1%. So obviously you want to connect on a higher percentage, but to me what stands out even more is the difference in volume. That 23 3-point attempts to 41 3-point attempts, that is not a battle that you're going to win. And when you're trading 2 points for 3 points, it is a tactic to get buried. And this is the modern NBA. It is frustrating, but when you just think about the mathematics of it, these Sixers have to find a way to get up more shots from beyond the 3-point arc. And I don't know if that's an internal fix. That to me screams more of go out there and get a Kevin Huerter or get a guy that is just a chucker from deep, a Buddy Hield, a player of that caliber or of that style. But the volume of 3-point attempts is a huge concern of mine. It kind of was hidden for a couple weeks and it's showing back up again tonight.
Yeah, and one thing, and to quickly jump in here, like how about the defense in the paint was just vanilla, just flat. I mean, the Knicks did whatever they wanted to this Sixers team. The Sixers just run the same old 3-2 defense, whatever, and then there was time they were just gas, and then you seen Harstein just ran through and did whatever he wanted in the paint. He just had his night. Like you said, the Sixers are a much better of a team. Again, maybe a stretch of playing the Bulls, and then you go on to face a team like this with young legs who could just run you up and down the court. Yeah, that's probably going to catch up with you, and then at some point, yeah, you're going to have to make some kind of significant move at the trade deadline, just for to me like an aspect of shooting. What's
Mhm.
up, Mitch? What do you have?
So for me, it's just like, yes, we do need another shooter, but then it's just like they are not going to be on every single night. So for me, it's just like who's actually consistent. Murray dropped 30 points tonight, 30, and now everyone's like, go get him, go get him, and watch Kevin Herter get 30 tomorrow. It's just
Mhm.
like, who do you want to get rid of for that? Who do you want to ruin that chemistry with for that guy? That's just what I'm getting at.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't know. I mean, like, do we ruin the chemistry or do we upgrade from what we have? I mean, it's a crapshoot. It's really is a crapshoot. I mean, I feel like they could get better, and maybe they get better on maybe a wing defender. I mean, I feel like other than Rocco at times, the defense could just be a little bit better for this team. Again, there's times where I see that paint just look like you could just do whatever you want. You could just run it however you want. And
Mhm.
that's a major concern for me. I mean, that's one of the problems I've seen. I mean, not just this game, but there's been games before this where the defense in the paint alone, where that's where Embiid's playground's at, is just dry. It's just dry. I don't know if it's and now, Sean. Let me ask you this question: do we hold Nick Nurse to a little bit of accountability? I know this is year one for him, but he has that resume where it's kind of like you got this championship resume. I kind of need you to get things going for this team. This team already has an expected window to get past the second round. I need you to bring something more to light.
Yeah, I think like it's been pretty sunshine and rainbows with Nick Nurse so far. It felt like the past couple weeks that it's starting to be, and personally, I've had some critiques, for rotation stuff and things like that. A night like tonight is when we're going to start to figure out what's Nick Nurse's voice in this team. Like, what do they look like tomorrow night? What is the changes, the adjustment? What is said in between the walls of the locker room about an effort like tonight? Because I do think it was the type of game where effort not should be questioned, but that there were concerns. They weren't locked in for the full 48 in a way that you just straight up have to be in the NBA. And for the most part, the Sixers have been. That this has been a characteristic that has stuck to this team for years past, that there are the nights where they simply don't bring it. Tonight was the first time I felt like we've seen that. I can't wait to see the response from Nick Nurse and this team. But yeah, I think like this is a bump in the road that will be noteworthy in the grand scheme of things. They're not going to go 82-0. They're still sitting pretty in the standings and feel all right about it. But I'm very intrigued about the response and how this is handled within the team for this specific game.
True that. True that. So again, and what was your guys' thoughts? I'll start out with you, Mitch. What's your thoughts on Tobias on Joel Embiid?
Hmm. Well, he tied Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most 30-10 games in streak, so there's that. But he just looked tired. He just looked tired. It wasn't him. There was something up. And hey, his worst night
Okay.
still got 30 and 10. One of his worst nights still got 30 and 10. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what the? All right, go.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I will say I mentioned that it's a bit of a, I guess, like disappointing that they kind of left him in there at the end. I do think that's loser energy to keep him in there to chase the 30. I was a little disappointed in that. I get it for the most part of the stretch that he's been dominant and they've come very organically. Did not feel that way to me, and especially when Embiid missed a couple shots, had Hardenstein block one and all that go down the stretch. But the bottom line is I did think Embiid still showed flashes where he was locked in. That third quarter run I thought was very good. The Knicks gave every chance for the Sixers to get back in this game. They just refused to take it. And that comes down to a lot of different things, not just Joel Embiid, but I was very underwhelmed by kind of the effort level. And I thought it was I'm he's front and center for all these effort questions and same kind of conversations I'm having. I do think that he was thrown off from rolling his ankle in that first play of the game. Disappointing it happened, but that's the stuff that he's gonna have to learn to deal with.
Right. Yep, you got to tip your cap when the guys like Miles McBride shoots perfect from 3. When
Shout
a
out
guy
Deuce.
like that, when that guy Deuce just hits random, oh my God, I can't speak, just makes shots out of nowhere, it's just like, you got to respect it. The guy's on fire. Once he gets going, the other team will get going. It's like self-explanatory there. It's self-explanatory. And yep, health questions. It's just basically health at this point for Embiid. And it looks like, there you go.
Yeah,
good?
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Like I said, for me though, like again, Joel Embiid looked good, great, but he looked like he was frustrated. He looked like he just again with the miscommunication with the bench is just the lack thereof. He looked like he was getting frustrated at times. It looked like Maxey was getting frustrated at times. Again, just how about towards the end there in the fourth quarter where they were just getting blown by, and then the Knicks were coming up with steals and all those other things, and it was just like it just looked like there was a lot of confusion going on. And like I said, Joel Embiid did have a nice game, but man, I know his voice is going to be heard, tonight, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have, like I said, maybe after stay around, shoot around, and we got to fix this. They definitely have to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is interesting. We didn't put it on the table, but no D'Anthony Melton, no Robert Covington, no Furkan Korkmaz. Not that guy's a meter mover these days by any means, but I do think the Melton change is something that's interesting. We've only seen the starting lineup. This is only the second game that they've played this Oubre, Batum, Tobias Harris, Embiid, and Maxey starting 5. I'm curious that it does not have the same look of this death lineup as it did against the Chicago Bulls. For me, I love the size of this matchup, but I thought Batum was a little exposed when he got switched onto the guards, which is something to note moving forward. Oubre, I thought, hung pretty well defensively. Tobias is what he is, and Embiid is what he is. We know what Embiid brings to the table, but I was a little concerned from a matchup standpoint that Batum struggled specifically on Brunson, who's incredibly crafty, and you got to tip your cap, but even some matchups with McBride and a couple other things. So I do think D'Anthony Melton has the inside track of getting back on the starting lineup and should once he's healthy and possibly tomorrow.
This has been sitting here
all right, all right, let's get to player of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to player of the game here. I'm sorry about that.
No, you got it?
Yeah, I think I got it right there. Excuse me, I'm not my man is savvy. All right, Sean, I'll go with you. Who's your player of the night?
My player of the night, I'll leave one layup on the table. I'm going to throw mine to Kelly Oubre Jr. That 31 minutes, 15 points, 7 rebounds, which is a lot for him. He had 3 blocks. One of them was very impressive on OG Anunoby, where he kind of just followed him step by step and had like a block over the shoulder kind of play. I thought Kelly brought it, shot 3 for 6 from 3. He did exactly what I hoped from a Kelly Oubre on a night like tonight. So while the team as a whole let us down, I was very happy with the effort from Kelly on both sides of the ball. He continues to outperform his contract, and I thought it was cool to see him kind of go head-to-head with OG Anunoby, who's obviously a big-ticket guy that was just traded and a guy that's going to get a healthy paycheck this summer. So cool for Oubre to step up to the challenge, and I was happy with his performance overall tonight.
Nice. All right, so let me let you guys be right back. I'll be right back.
All right, Mitch, who you got?
So for me, I don't know, man, because Embiid did get 30 and 10. You know what? Screw it. I'll go with Joel Embiid. 30 and 10. He tied Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There were times when he was exhausted. It was not hitting for him. And there was just times that he couldn't get it, but I'm still going with Embiid with 30 and 10 tying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And
I like that.
Yeah. Something with Maxey. He had 21 points in the first half, right? 21 or 20?
I think something like that. I think 20.
Yeah, something like that. But he finished with 27, so mostly he was quiet in the second half. they shut him down in second, so that's why I didn't pick him. So
Yeah,
makes sense.
that was the layup I was leaving on the table. I thought you would jump on. Maybe Pat will snag that when he comes back. But I do like this comment from Prince Monito down here. Shout out Prince for always hanging around. Appreciate you, Prince. But saying Pat, for me, besides the obvious, he tried to get us going, played defense, etc. I do agree with that. But I do think Pat Beverly did his best to light a fire. That's why he's on the squad, essentially, is there needs to be a guy to kind of stir up the pot, get things going. I do think he tried. You saw the defensive intensity, the way him smacking at things, arguing with refs, doing his Pat Beverly thing. So I appreciated the effort. It did not quite stick to this team the way that I hoped it would or get them going, but I do respect it from Pat, and I like that shout out from you, Prince.
Yeah. I mean, Nicholas Batum, 0-4. I mean, it's just typical. How do you think he did, obviously, Batum?
Thought he passed okay. He had the
Yeah.
one transition pass to Max. He stands out to me. That was his only assist. He had 4 boards. Definitely an underwhelming game from Batum. He just was not that involved. The one block was nice as well. That was swatted that one straight into the stands. So that was pretty cool to see that. But yeah, an underwhelming game from Batum. He's a guy that goes and rises and sinks at the same level of the Joel Embiid's and Tyrese Maxey's. That he's very much a complementary piece, very much a counter to when these guys are playing well. You force Nick Batum to be the guy that beats you. These guys were not playing well, so Nick Batum didn't really get enough looks to be that guy. So I wasn't overly upset about his game, but not one that I'm definitely framing and hanging on the fridge by any means.
Yeah, me too. And Andrew from Twitter, Sixers got smoked. Yeah, they were
No
just
doubt.
not hitting their shots. I don't know if I'm gonna say this right. Maybe they did overlook them a bit because they got Utah next. So I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully they just got the ass beat.
Yeah, I
don't
think
want
it's
to see
more.
them overlook.
I think it's more of like the Knicks are a good team. They're not a
Yeah.
contender, but they're a good team. They're a team that you can't take lightly. And I think the Sixers are just coming off a stretch where they've pretty much been able to sleepwalk through and beat teams. The Pistons, the Bulls, all these teams, the Wizards, that they've just been able to kind of cruise right past. So the Knicks are not that team. The Sixers have to bring it on a night-to-night basis and every matchup basis if they want to get a positive result. They did not tonight, and they were punished for it. So this should be a lesson to this team. They should learn from it moving forward. But yeah, definitely disappointing overall in the effort across the board.
Yep. And then OG Anunoby didn't shoot that well. 3 for 11, 1 for 3, and 11 points. I mean, he didn't really shoot that well, but defensively, he was still an impact. I mean,
That's
I
what.
wish we got him.
Yeah, the defensive side of the ball is what's going to butter his bread and keep him cashing those paychecks for sure. I still like the move from the Knicks perspective. I think he's a cleaner fit into what they want to do than RJ Barrett was the case. For me, I phrased it as OG Anunoby is very much what they wanted RJ Barrett to become. I mean, we'll see how it ultimately stands out. I do think OG is not quite as good as kind of the expectation, or I guess the perception of him is. He's much more of kind of a theoretical player to me, that he checks every box for what you want, the size, the athleticism, the style of play. But the substance, I'm still kind of up in the air about. But I still thought he answered the call and did some nice things tonight. Thought it was a solid game from him overall.
Yeah. And Andrew goes, this game was a measuring stick. Basically, yep, that's basically what it was. And shout out to Todd. The Sixers look like the Eagles tonight. But here's the thing. The Eagles play for not the Eagles. The Sixers played for most of that game. The Eagles would have collapsed in the third quarter. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, the third quarter, the Sixers did go on a run. They had a very good third quarter, but the fourth quarter, that's when.
True.
Yeah. And then Paul Reed had a nice layup at the end. That was a good layup from him. What is up, Matt? Definitely not how he wrote up. Yep, GG. Yep, basically.
Shout out Matt for doing the pregame coverage with us earlier, and he got the Knicks and him got the better of the Sixers tonight. So tough to look you square in the eye on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I was out to dinner with my dad. I was listening to it. Great show, you guys. Yeah, that was great.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that guy was awesome. And then the Knicks just did their thing. So let's just get into the team grades, and then we'll come back for Pat's player of the game. So let's go to team grades, and we'll be right back.
Don't you hear it? Sweetness and light for my restless smile. Please give me a way to escape this world gone astray.
All right. What is your team grade for the Sixers?
My team grade, I'm gonna throw a straight F on the board for this one. The first one I've handed out all year. For me, what concerns me the most and what I'm kind of digging into with this team is still the mentality side of things. That for years we've questioned when this team has that effort level and when they don't. Tonight was a clear example of them not having it. And even more frustrating to me was them starting off strong, being in this game, playing well, and then all of a sudden the Knicks shoot the lights out and they just kind of crumble up with it. So for me, it's an F that there's got to be more resolve, got to be more resistance mentally from that, and just some concerning things on the court as well. That you got to get up more 3-pointers than that. Felt like the Knicks won every hustle play. We're getting every loose ball, things like that. So just a lot to address. For me, this is the first fail of the season.
Yeah, I was actually gonna go with a C minus, so I think I'm being a little too generous there. So I'll just go with the plain out. I'm gonna go with Andrew here. I'm gonna go with the D also, because just for the fact that in third quarter they did go on a nice run, they did make an effort to have a comeback and take over the lead, and then the fourth quarter they just shitted the bed, and that was basically it. So for me, I'm going with the D. But
Yeah,
yeah,
totally fair.
yeah, national TV too. Yeah. I mean, like,
Always.
why was it on ESPN? I mean, I was live streaming this game. I was yelling that Doris Burke was making a call. And I'm like, oh my God, please. No, can't stand her.
Doc
Can't.
Rivers still dodging the call.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think he's going to do it for the Sixers and Lakers. Sixers and Clippers.
I would
Yeah.
love that. He'll take all credit and deflect all blame for both sides, for the James Harden and for the Sixers side of things, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. And then you heard what he said about Embiid and Jokic, that whole thing.
Yeah. I can't believe, quick Doc Rivers rant, but I can't believe I'm more frustrated now after he's done being the Sixers coach than I was with him. But I'm sick of hearing him on TV, sick of the takes. And the Jokic thing specifically was frustrating to me, considering like you had such a hand in allowing the opportunity to Embiid or creating this stale offense that made him unable to elevate his teammates. So yeah, I don't need to hear it from Doc Rivers about why Jokic is better passer than Joel. Jokic absolutely is. I'm not arguing that Embiid is better than him. There's no doubt that Jokic is the better passer, but there's definitely some correlation between the style of offenses and Joel Embiid having a career high in assists this year when there's actual motion surrounding him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. According to Nick, he's your hero. I get that too. I get that too, bro. I get that too. I was so excited when we got him, and then, like, just crazy.
There was a point in time where he was a great basketball coach. It's just unfortunate that was several decades ago at this point.
Right. I mean, I'm telling him they had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rondo, and Ray Allen. I mean, any coach could won a title with that.
Yeah, you make a great case.
Yeah. And then how about Embiid not winning Player of the Month? I saw your video there.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It comes down to the games played. I'm just an anti-availability is the best ability thing. That to me, I would rather a guy be more dominant when he's there than a guy that just is there every night. Giannis had a great month, but Embiid's was just purely better.
Right. So, Pat, we still need to hear your player of the game, bro.
Well, I'm going to give it.
I took Embiid, and Sean got Kelly Oubre.
All right. Give me Franklin the dog. Give me Franklin the dog.
That was my next choice.
Give me. Who'd you take?
I got Embiid, and he took.
Yeah,
and Sean
all right. Well,
Oubre.
you guys gave me the layup tonight. Give me Maxey. Maxey was pretty much showing me that he's had the only one bringing heart tonight. Again, the way he cut to the baskets, the way again catch and shoot, dishing the ball out. I'm sorry, Nick. I would love to take B-ball Paul, but I'm sorry. I'd rather go Franklin the dog over B-ball Paul right now. But no, I mean, again, Maxey just had a great game. Even though he was dealing with so much on the court alone with him, other than him and Joel Embiid, pretty much trying to carry on this team on his back going against this tough Knicks team. And look, it just came up short, and it is what it is. But yeah, I got to give Maxey 27 points, 9 assists. Very, very solid night from him. Yeah, let's just get into the All-Star game.
And then someone said in the chat, I forget who it was like the drop off from Andre Drummond to Paul Reed for the backup center. I've been saying this for a while. We have a problem with our backup center position.
Yeah, the Paul Reed regression has not been a fun storyline to watch, and one that we haven't really put front and center. He still has his flashes where he looks okay, but yeah, it has been a drop off since last year, and that's disappointing. And as much as I just came up here and critiqued Doc Rivers, there was a part of things that Paul Reed was so scared to get yanked off the court if he did anything under Doc that now he feels like he's got a little freedom, and some of the weirdness of B-ball Paul comes front and center. That when it was under Doc, it was such like, I only do this. I only do this. I'm just screening. I'm just rolling. And if I get the ball, I put it in the basket and then I get rebounds. With Nick Nurse, there's a little more room for adventures and for him to try things. And I think that's reflecting negatively in his overall game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's, yeah, like I said, it is. There's things that are showing there is just speaking out about this team that it's just lingering. And again, to me, the problem to me is the bench. It's just the bench, just the complementary, just not for them be with the starting rotation. And like you said, you can blame some of the starting rotation for not being hot, just being so hot and cold. Again, you had this stretch of the Bulls and the Knicks, two teams who could run up and down the floor, and then fatigue played a role in this, on the Sixers. And you just seen this team just was gassed from the second quarter on. This team was just gassed. They just really didn't have an answer. They try and make a fight, Embiid trying to make a fight in that third quarter, and it was just nothing. And
And Pat, we also dropped our grades for this. Do you have a grade for what you would give this performance?
I gave it a D. I was being a little bit generous. Sean gave it an F.
Yes, the grade I was notorious for school. Give me a big fat F. And I know no F plus. Just a big fat F for the Sixers team tonight. Again, where was your heart at? No defense whatsoever. Again, Maxey showed up, Embiid showed up, and that was it. Your bench was straight up horse garbage. Majority of your point, your bench only came up with a bucket. That was it. Marcus Morris, where were you, my friend? Is this your home court or is this the Villanova Wildcats? Is this Jalen Brunson's home court? Whose home court does it belong to? Tonight it looked like it belonged to Brunson. It looked like it belonged to DiVincenzo. It looked like it was, there for Josh Hart. Not for you, my friend. Totally big fat F goes to your 76ers. So, and I hate to be that guy, but yeah, big fat F. So, yeah, I'm cooked with this team.
Yeah, I was being way too generous then. God dang. Way too generous.
Well,
yeah.
This is why you would be a perfect like librarian, because you can't give Fs. Me, Sean, on the other hand, we just draw them. We just hand them out.
Yeah, no handout.
I've given Fs before. I've given Fs before since I was on the show yet.
Oh, really?
I don't think I've given an F on the show yet.
No, well, trust me, this team tonight deserved it. And again, Nick Nurse looked like he was puzzled. When your bench doesn't show up, not executing plays, what do you have? What do you really have? I can see now why Marcus Morris was dealt to so many teams. There was times when he looked confused, didn't know what to do, kind of like resting on the starting rotation, kind of one rust off of Joel Embiid and Maxey carry load. I don't know. There's something wrong with his play tonight. Just nothing. You put up this, I could do this. So yeah, it was a bad night from the guy. Bad night overall from the bench, and like I said, Nick Batum. I got to put Nick Batum in accountability. Nothing. So. But yeah, guys, listen, that's going to be the wrap-up to this post-game show. Guys, stay tuned tomorrow. I know a lot of you guys will be doing, going through the snow tomorrow. Guys, stay tuned because Edge of Philly Sports will have you loaded tomorrow. You got Flyers post-game show. You got Sixers post-game show. These guys will be back in the house. I'll be out there fighting snow. All right, guys, I want to say thank you so much. My man, Mitch, where can everyone find you at?
So you can find me on YouTube at Mitch Chopsy, Hardcore Sports, and Twitter Mitch Chopsy. Easy, done.
Wow, that's easy. And Fly Like an Eagles podcast. Don't check it out every Thursday night at 7:00, 7:15. Of course,
Austin. Your guy Austin is a guest next week.
What? Who booked that loser? Who booked that loser? What's he bringing to the table? No, I'm kidding. He's a great guy. Sean, what's your plugs? Where's your tags? And where can people find you at, buddy?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_Bernard1. Check out on YouTube, Pick Swap Media and Sixers Digest. And then make sure tomorrow to tune in from 11 to 1 on Fox Sports The Gambler, either on the YouTube page, on Twitter, or on 1025 on the AM or FM dials, whatever it is, AM, FM, whatever we got there for the radio these days. But you can catch me on there with the Tough Cover radio show with Mark Henry Jr. So we'll be digesting this loss a little more and handing out some wagers for the rest of the sports this weekend.
Yeah, I love the stuff that you and Sean do. Great stuff with you guys over there. Fox Gambler, great guys. You, Sean, my man Roy Burton over there. You guys are killing it. Guys, make sure you catch Sean out again. All of his shows. Catch him over there at Fox Gambler. Always doing post-game shows over here with the EOP with us guys. Man, he's a great guy. You guys, I love this man's basketball hoop knowledge. Really, really inspiring. So, guys, check him out. Sean Bernard. Mitch Kofsky. Guys, I'll catch you later. Of course, your boy, Pat Bernard, a.k.a. The Gobbler, a.k.a. Pat from Ambler on Twitter and on Instagram. Guys, you can catch me next show I'll be doing. We'll probably do another Sixers post-game show next week or a Flyers post-game show next week because Old Man Winter, me and him will be going to war tomorrow. So, guys, have a good one, and stay tuned, stay healthy. And, yeah, there you are.
Oh, I know you were.